When something went wrong in our house, my brother always said the same three words. It was me. It became a kind of family mantra, a familiar rhythm to our childhood chaos. I remember the time my mom's favorite crystal vase, the one she got from her grandmother, ended up in 1,000 glittering shards on the living room floor. Before my tears could even fall, I heard his voice, steady and calm. It was me. He took the grounding without a single complaint. Then there was the $50 that vanished from Dad's wallet. My parents were furious, their faces tight with disappointment. I knew I'd spent it on a concert ticket I wasn't supposed to buy, and the guilt was eating me alive. I was about to confess, my heart pounding in my chest, when my brother stepped forward. I took it, he said, his eyes fixed on the floor. I needed it for something. He endured a month of lectures and lost his allowance, all while I sat in silence, the secret heavy in my stomach. Even our school report cards became his burden. My grades would sometimes dip, a C in math or a D in history, and I'd hide the paper under my bed, dreading the inevitable discovery, but somehow he always found it first. He'd present his own report card to our parents, already marred by his own struggles, and say, "Mine are bad this time." "Hers are fine, I saw them." He'd take the heat, the disappointed sighs, the extra tutoring sessions, creating a shield around me. For years, I just thought he was reckless, irresponsible, a natural troublemaker who didn't care about the consequences. I was the good kid, the responsible one, and he was the wild child. That's the story everyone believed, including me. I even felt a little bit superior, a little smug that I wasn't the one always getting into trouble. I saw his sacrifices as simple carelessness, and I judged him for it. I couldn't understand why he was so self-destructive. It seemed like he was constantly choosing the path of most resistance, inviting trouble into his life. That all changed one evening. I was walking past my parents' bedroom and I heard their voices, low and strained. I stopped, pressing my ear against the door, something I knew I shouldn't do. My dad's voice was filled with a weary sadness I'd never heard before. "If we punish her again for this," he said, and I knew he was talking about me, about my latest transgression I had yet to confess, "I'm worried she'd break. She's so sensitive." There was a pause, and then I heard my brother's voice, quiet but firm, cutting through the heavy silence. "Then blame me," just those three words. But this time they weren't an admission of guilt. They were a command, a plea. Just put it on me. In that moment, the entire narrative of my childhood shattered and rearranged itself. It wasn't recklessness. It wasn't carelessness. It was a choice. A deliberate act of protection. Every punishment he'd taken, every lecture he'd endured, every disappointed look he'd absorbed. It was all for me. He was standing between me and the harsh realities of consequence, acting as a buffer so I wouldn't have to face them. He carried every single burden, every single time, so I wouldn't have to. He was letting our parents and the world see him as the problem so that I could remain the solution. The weight of that realization was staggering. I thought about all the times I had looked at him with pity or condescension. All the times I had secretly been glad it was him and not me. The guilt was overwhelming. How could I have been so blind? How could I have misunderstood him so completely? He wasn't the family screw-up. He was the family's secret hero, its silent, unsung guardian. Years passed. We grew up, moved out, and started our own lives. The dynamic of our childhood faded into memory, but the echo of his sacrifice never left me. One sunny afternoon we were sitting on his porch, watching his kids play in the yard. The memory of that night, of his quiet voice through the door, was as vivid as ever. I finally found the courage to ask him the question that had been sitting in my heart for over a decade. "Why?" I asked, my voice barely a whisper. "Why did you do it? You took the blame for everything. You let everyone think you were the bad kid." He turned to me, and the familiar, mischievous smile he always had played on his lips. But his eyes were serious, full of a deep, unwavering affection. He looked out at his own kids, a boy and a girl chasing each other with shrieks of laughter. "Because you still believed the world was kind," he said softly, his voice full of a gentle nostalgia. "You saw magic in everything, and you trusted people completely. You had this bright, unbroken spirit." He looked back at me, his gaze holding mine. "And I didn't want to be the one who took that from you. I figured one of us had to face the tough stuff, and it was better it be me. I could handle it. I just wanted you to be a kid for as long as possible." Tears streamed down my face, but they weren't tears of guilt anymore. They were tears of gratitude. of overwhelming love for this man who had been my shield, my guardian, my quiet protector. He hadn't just taken the blame. He had preserved my innocence. He had given me the gift of a childhood free from the crushing weight of failure, allowing me to believe in the goodness of the world because he was busy taking on its harshness for me. His love was a fortress, and I had lived safely inside its walls without even knowing it. And in that moment, I understood that true strength isn't about avoiding punishment. It's about being willing to bear it for someone you love. Thank you so much for watching. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe for more content that explores the deep connections that shape our lives. We'll see you in the next one.